my name is Melissa and I am a teacher here in Brooklyn, New York in the charter school system, and it's been a while since I posted a video, but today I had the idea to talk about why teaching is so hard. And I wanted to talk about this because as of lately, I feel like a lot of people are talking about why a lot of educators are leaving the field, how we are overworked, underpaid, but what does that really look like? What does that mean, overworked within the field of education? And I can only speak from the perspective of teaching kindergarten because I've done so for the past 3 years. And this is what I've experienced and as to why teaching might be so hard. So I just wanted to share maybe about 4 things that I've realized, and maybe aspiring teachers will look at this video and see what's in store for them, because I'm telling you, it's not easy. It's not easy. So if you're interested in learning about why teaching is so hard from the perspective of a kindergarten teacher, keep watching. So I'm looking at my phone because I wrote down some notes as to this point of why teaching is so hard. And the first one I put is, you have to be okay with the unexpected. Things happen all the time. There are things that happen throughout the day that you don't plan for, right? I planned for reading to be an hour. I planned for math to be 45 minutes. I didn't plan to have to speak to my class for 20 minutes because their behavior in specials was horrendous and I need to speak to them about respecting adults. Or I didn't plan for pee accidents to happen where I have to transition the class to another room, change clothes, call parents, and eat up 30 minutes of my lesson plan, right? Unexpected things happen and you have to be okay with it. Because as an educator, yes, you are teaching them, but the child comes first. Like if somebody is not feeling well, or if you're noticing a student is just a little off today, you have to take time to, you know what, let's sit down, let's relax for a little bit, let's put our heads down and let's regroup, right? I have so many movement breaks that happen unplanned throughout the day. Meditation, my kids are relaxed a lot of the time because for whatever reason, they go to specials, they go to art, they go to gym, they go to science, and they come back on 10. And within the schedule, it's usually like, okay, this is 45 minutes and this is 45 minutes. But usually I have to take 10 of those minutes to sit down, let's reflect. What did you guys do in the last class? How can your behavior be better? Did you listen to your teacher? And that's not in the schedule, but it's unexpected and you have to be okay with that, right? Which goes into my next point about communication. I feel like with administration, they want you to meet certain deadlines and they want you to teach certain things within a certain time frame, but because of unexpected situations, you might be behind a lesson plan, or you might have to review something or skip a lesson plan because these kids are ahead or behind. Depending on the vibe of your class, you have to communicate that very well. And I know communication is a skill that people have to learn because at first, I felt almost guilty that I was behind or that I was reviewing stuff. But at the end of the day, each class is different and you have to communicate that with your administration. But not only with admin, with parents. Because I've had situations where parents come to me and they're like, hey, why are you guys counting 1, 2, 3 when my kid already knows that? Like, can you give them harder work? You have to explain to parents, especially the ones that are unfamiliar with the education system, how we raise up the entire class until we're all on the same playing field, and then we push them, right? I'm not gonna give a kid harder work and have all my kids down here, and then, we get to this place where we're not all on the same level. We raise everybody up, and then we can push them forward. And you have to communicate that to parents in a way that's palpable. Like, I'm not saying that your kid is not smart, but yeah, they can work on identifying their letters and identifying their numbers. Communication is very important in this field, but it's also very hard because not all parents communicate the same. You have to find different words, a different language to make it easier for them to digest. And also you have to do this on your personal time. I can't tell you the amount of times parents have hit me up maybe 8 o'clock at night when they decided to do homework and was like, hey, can you help us with this page? Because they don't understand it, I don't understand, right? Or on the weekend when parents are emailing me like, hey, this weekend, such and such is not feeling really good. Can you tell me what I can say to them to encourage them to go to school because they've been feeling down? I feel like communication is a big part of this career field. Talking all the time is a big part of this career field, and it's very tricky. So that's a skill, and it's also why teaching may be hard for some. Another thing is taking work home. Now, I would love to be one of those educators where I'm like, all right, 3:30, my email's off, phone is off, goodbye. But COVID has really switched the way we communicate with families, and it's a lot more intimate. Unfortunately, I would say unfortunately, but I give my personal number to my families because there's things that happened over the weekend that I need to know immediately about so that I can properly plan for the following week. So for example, one of my kids had the flu on Saturday and their parents had to send them to school on Monday because she works. So I made sure I had masks, I made sure I had hand sanitizer, I made sure that we were all taking the proper precautions, and I also made sure that we had a discussion about hygiene, right? This is something that I need to know immediately. And had I been one of those teachers that are like, no, my phone is off, don't contact me, I would have got sick, you know? So taking your work home and also like communicating with parents on your off time is kind of hard, right? When do you have time for yourself? When can I just be like, no work, it's just me time. Work-life balance is really hard, really hard. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of educators might be interested in another career field, because there's a lot of times when I want to go home and just not think about work, but that's not the situation I'm in. You know, sometimes I go home and I have to look at lesson plans because I have to prepare for the next day, or I have to grade something that I didn't have the time to grade in the classroom. It's a lot. One more thing. Working for the respect of your parents. Now, this is specifically for the perspective of a kindergarten teacher, because a lot of my kids have never been in a school setting before. And then the parents bring them to you and they're like, who is this? You know, like, prove to me that my child is safe in here. Prove to me that you know what you're doing. And that's a little bit hard because, I mean, obviously, if you're in a classroom, that means you have a passion for teaching. You love teaching. You know how to do it well. And parents, they humble you. Right, I made a video about a parent who I had to prove my teacher capabilities to, and she eventually warmed up to me. But I think it takes time and it takes trust to build relationships with families, and they make you work for it 100%, which I don't mind because it all starts off rocky, but then by the end of the year, all of my parents are begging me to go to the next grade, and I love that. So that's what I have. That's what I have as far as like why teaching is so hard. I think some of these things can be remedied with, you know, being very organized, very detail oriented. I mean, I've gotten a handle on a lot of my communication with parents. I do a hard boundary when I get home with my work. I'm able to really set boundaries as far as what lesson plan I'm doing on my own personal time. And also, Sundays are my days where I'm not communicating with any parents. Saturdays is a stretch. Sunday is no-go. Like, that's my day. And with that being said, thank you for watching. I really enjoyed making this video. Please let me know any other content that you would like to see from me. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.